So let's start with today's session. So as I was saying, today's session is on deductions. So first we will take ordinary deductions. So from line 12 till line 26 or maybe 27. So we will cover these in today's session, and NOL and special deduction we will take it up in the next session, because obviously it will be too hectic for you to have all these things together. Now if we see, so what exactly what do you mean by deductions? So deductions are nothing but the expenses that a company have made uh, in operating a business, right? Now, first deduction can be compensation of officers. What do you mean by compensation of officers? Any idea?
Salaries or
सैलरी एंड कंपेंसेशन सैलरीज और जो एक्स्ट्रा बेनिफिट्स उनको मिलते हैं इन टर्म्स ऑफ मॉनेटरी.
Then why we have salaries separate?
So salaries for normal employees and compensation is for officers, CEOs and CEOs,
For CEOs,
CFOs.
CFOs. So officers generally include. Wait, so officers generally include CEO, CFO, and total top five
officers.
So for them, if their compensation is below $500,000, then you can straight away write it here on line 12. If it is more than $500,000, then you have to attach this form 1125E. So if we see how form 1125E looks like, it will be just the details of each and every officer and how much percentage of time they are devoting to the this thing, to the company. So form 1125E looks like this. So basically the company's name, EIN number, and list of all the officers with social security number, percentage of time devoted, percentage of stock owned, and amount of compensation. Okay. So total compensation of officers, and of course, if you are claiming the compensation in form 1125 or anywhere else in the return, of course that needs to be removed. That needs to be deducted from the total compensation, right? Now, what is 1125A? If you remember, we have done it in the last session. Do you remember? Are you able to remember the forms? No. Anyways, not required.
it's pertaining to cost of goods sold, sir.
Absolutely. So it's related to cost of goods sold. So after subtracting that, whatever will be the amount, it will automatically go into this line number 12. Okay. Then we have salaries and wages. So normal salaries and wages, including fringe benefits, whatever you are giving to the your employees, will be included here. Again, if you are including certain salaries elsewhere means there might be a situation where you may have included these salaries in cost of goods sold. What can be that situation? Where you will include it in cost of goods sold instead of salaries and wages.
सर लेबर सैलरीज होगी जैसे वो कॉग्स में जाती है.
Right. So basically, you can say contractual basis. No, mainly in cost of goods sold, those salaries go which you want to capitalize. Understand this thing. So if you are putting the salaries in cost of goods sold, that means you are making it as an inventory cost. So it is an asset, not an expense, right? Whatever you are putting it in salaries and wages, that becomes your expense. So this is a difference between cost of goods sold and salaries and wages. So generally you are allowed, so if any cost that you are incurring in the manufacturing unit, you can consider it as a cost of goods sold or capitalization of the asset, right? So salaries and wages will be like that. Then repairs and maintenance. Again, in repairs and maintenance, what will happen? So these are certain exceptions that you need to keep in mind while preparing this. So you know how to enter all the data in the software, but you should know what all data needs to be added, right? Like if I'm saying compensation of officer, so if it is less than $500,000, then fine, you directly write it in the line 12. Else, you may have to file form 1125E. So you should know that. Again, then salaries and wages. If it is a labor wage, where it should go, whether it should go in cost of goods sold or salaries and wages. Accordingly, you should be aware of those things. Likewise, for repairs and maintenance, if repairs are done for like maybe something which can be capitalized. So what kind of repair can be capitalized? Like let's say you are improving the asset, right? So it is improving the life of the asset, or let's say maybe additions are made, repairs are making the additional benefit to the asset. Then you have to capitalize it. Then it will be in the balance sheet, not in the this P&L. So accordingly, you have to see whether that repair and maintenance can be expensed or it has to be capitalized. Okay. Then we have bad debts. For bad debts, first thing is provisions are not allowed. So if let's say in your books of accounts you may find that there might be a situation where it is in the books of account they have made journal entry of bad debt expense to provision for bad debts or bad debt. So they cannot take minute, you cannot take this bad debt. You have to take only the actual bad debts, and that too if you are following an accrual method. If you are following cash basis, then of course if you are following cash basis you do not have accounts receivable, so you cannot have bad debts as well. So if you are following cash basis, there will be no bad debt except if it is in a situation where you have already received the money in the last year and now they are saying no, we want a return or something like that is happening, which is very rare, right? So accordingly, bad debts will be reported only if actually incurred, right? Not for the provisions. Then comes rents. Now rents over here, many people are, so what comes in your mind when we say rental expense?
Sir, rents related to building, office rents, warehouse rents.
I knew this. So many people think it is only related to this part. No. So this is one of them. So if you are paying any rent for the building offices, then it's fine. Then it will come here. But it also includes leases or rents for cars. Many people over there take cars on rent. So for cars on rent, there is a special clause. So what is a special clause for cars or rent? If you are renting a car for more than 30 days, then you have to reduce the rental deduction by some amount, and that amount is known as inclusion amount. So this is specifically for those who take cars on rent for business purpose, and maybe for business purpose and personal purpose, or solely for business purpose. So there are different tables where you will find that okay, whether what we call how much inclusion amount is required, and you have to proportionate the rental expense in the ratio of number of days you have used as a business and number of days you have used as a personal, for personal use. So there is a specific publication I think it is 463, let me check. So in publication 463, inclusion, how to use inclusion amount is there. 463 IRS. This one. So here if we see control F, inclusion amounts. So if we go here, you can see that table, right? So this table is saying, so this is specifically for cars or trucks or vans that you may take on rent, right? So these are the figures where inclusion amount can happen. So if fair market value of the car or van is $60,000 in 23, so if the lease is beginning in 2023 and fair market value of that particular truck or a van is more than $60,000, or if it is a car, then if it is more than $19,000, then you have to deduct the inclusion amount. Now what is the inclusion amount? Inclusion amounts are these. So for 2023 we have there will be a whole list over this. This is a whole list. No, this is for depreciation. Should appendix A26, A6 is here, A5, A6, appendix A through A1 through A6. So these are the list. So you have to deduct $1, $3 depending on the fair market value of the car or the vehicle. So this amount you have to deduct. So $1 for first year, $3 for second year, $5 for third year, and so on accordingly. Okay.